Hey. As you just said 5 seconds ago, you're not sure how you feel about this movie.
I am.
Have you
Have I figured it out
in the 5 seconds since you said that?
In the time it took you to turn the camera on,
Yeah.
I have a solidified opinion.
Well, don't forget, I also had to open the little flap too.
It just bought me more time to weigh the pros.
Exactly.
And
That's why I opened it a little slower.
This movie is a lot of things.
You know what? I'm kind of going into this fairly cold in the sense that, like, okay, I've seen the original movie, but it has been a long time. It's been 20 years at the least. I don't remember enough about it to really do a proper analysis on how this is a remake. I kind of was one, and honestly, that goes for everything else that has to do with this as well, including the show and everything else. So I'm kind of just taking this movie at face value.
Yeah, it's like I've seen it way more recently than you. It was probably 15 years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect. That's why. What did you hear? You're an expert.
Clearly.
Uh-huh.
No, I remember a fair amount about it, but not enough to say if, like, it's like, oh yeah, this is how it was in the, you know, in the source material. Like I know I was reading some stuff that they were saying that they were kind of pulling some, like, not just completely from the original movie, but from, like, the sequel, the couple different, like, series that come after it, the prequel series that goes before it. Like, they kind of pulled a few different things here and there to kind of piece it all in there, so it's not like a straight 100% adaptation. But I mean, from what I could tell, is like, yeah, like, a lot of the broad strokes are things that I remember, you know, like, especially, like, some of, like, the big like, action set pieces, like like the big, like, firefight with, like, those geisha robots and everything, and stuff like that. So, like, it's, from what I could tell, like, it did a really good job kind of, you know, paying service to the source, but at the same time, I'm a very untrustworthy site to, you know, of a source of information here, so I wouldn't trust that 100%.
It's kind of the boat I was in last night. Like,
my memory of it is about on par with her memories of her own life. It's like, I kind of
Here's your memories.
Oh, thank you.
Back, you saw the original movie back when you were a Japanese boy.
That's the problem I'm facing.
I'm kind of in, like, a boat like that I was in last night, sort of, when Sarah and I were reviewing Going in Style, because it's practically the same movie. More so in the sense that, like, that movie was a remake of something I'd never seen before. I'd never seen the original Going in Style, and I have seen this. I might as well have not. It's been that long. Like, so in terms of going in style, me and Sarah...
It was weird that they weren't all Asian.
It was very weird. Well, I guess they couldn't get Pat Morita back from the original. It was him and not George Burns, right? But I said in there, I was like, I did... If this is a bad remake, I don't know. I'm not the one to say. But in terms of this movie, I can point to a lot of things that I like about it. It's a pretty movie. It is. It's well made.
It's very visually engaging.
Yeah. And we were at the 3D screening too, which was fine. Like, honestly, if you're seeing this in 3D on an IMAX screen, it probably looks really, really good. The soundtrack is pretty solid. Like, and again, that I don't know if any of that comes from.
It's a lot like the closing credits were kind of like the original, like, opening credit score from the original. But yeah, they tried to, like, have that kind of, like, through line with the music the whole way through to kind of you know, have a similar feel to it. But no, I really like that sort of like driving electronic score that a lot more like
Dude,
shows and movies are going with it.
Totally.
I fucking love like that fucking like Mr. Robot feel.
I did. I've always loved synth pop. So like that makes me happy whenever I say it. Can sometimes be one of the only things I like about a movie, and can. There have been times when that has even kept me from hating something. Like that last Divergent movie that was out, because M83 did the soundtrack.
It's like, this movie's so much better when I just close my eyes.
Honestly, yeah. Like, this movie is just made to have a kick-ass trailer. Or a fan video on YouTube, you know. I have a huge problem with the fact that this movie had Michael Wincott in it and didn't make him the villain. He's basically James Remar from the beginning of Judge Dredd in this, which tells you how long he's in this movie. And then when it kind of gets to who the villain of the whole thing is, in like the last 20 minutes of the movie, I was sitting there like, yeah, Michael Wincott could have done this a lot better.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it was playing the Mr. Cutter, but yeah, like he just struck me more like he should be like not like the main villain, but like the main villain's lawyer or something.
Fucking right. Yeah. You're right. It's like, looking at him, I'm like, was this same character the bad guy in Die Hard 5? I feel like it is. I know it's not, but I just feel like it is.
Like, if he wasn't, he could have been.
Yeah. Right? He's like one of those kind of bad guys. You know, the action, with the exception of like one shot in the movie, the action is solid. Like the part in this movie where, and it's with that spider tank fight at the end, the part where it made that bridge like collapse, and all of the sudden, Scarlett Johansson turned into, like, Halle Berry from Catwoman.
Yeah.
Did you catch that, too? Because that was some, like, really wildly temp-looking effects.
That looked like, okay, now here's the placeholder. Now we need to go back in next week, like, flesh it out, put, like, some texturing on it, do, like, some dramatic, dynamic lighting and everything.
Yeah.
And then, like, wait, the movie comes out next week. Put it in a can. I don't know. Put it in a can. What are we gonna do?
Ryan, I was talking to Ryan yesterday, and there's like he was working on one of the green screen shots for the movie, and there's like one shot that he wants to get some touch up work on, because he says it needs. He says when you look at it regularly, it looks fine, but when you blow it up, you can kind of see a couple of little things here and there. And he said to me, he goes, I don't know if I'm being nitpicky or not, because it is really when you just kind of zoom it in on there. And I'm like, oh no, you're doing the right thing. But at the same time, I'm like, if I was one of those people who's like, it's fine, I could just be like, dude, just look at this shot they did in this movie, man. You're perfectly fine. We're golden.
Our budget, their budget.
Yeah. We are golden, man.
Because, yeah, and that's a fair comparison. And a sad comparison, but yeah, the fucking Halle Berry Catwoman, because, like,
yeah,
all of a sudden she's just, well, okay, I get it. She has a robotic body. She's capable of great feats of strength and agility and fucking running on the walls like she's the goddamn Prince of Persia. Like, she's doing all kinds of shit. Jumping off of skyscrapers, cuz. And, yeah, it's like,
this looked like a glitch.
Yeah, she can do all that, but then in this one shot, suddenly she's like all rubbery and like an unfinished effect from like the first Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And moving way too fucking fast. Like, at no point has it ever shown that she can run uphill at 35 miles an hour.
All the other effects with her in this too all look like they're still within this universe and everything. This looked like I'm playing the video game version and it's just fucking glitching out on me. Like, it looked like she's gonna become like a panther woman, like in one shot of it or something.
But it's like those weird things, like you watch RoboCop, it's like, that makes sense, and then you play like the RoboCop game and like just jump up onto a fire escape. It's like, he couldn't jump to save his fucking life.
My biggest problem with this movie, because I honestly don't really have many problems with it in terms of like script value, which is saying a lot for a movie that has Aaron Kruger's name attached to the script. Like, it's like, well, dogs aren't fucking at one point. There's dogs in the movie, but they don't just suddenly start fucking at one point of the movie. The direction,
missed opportunity.
It's a good-looking movie. It is. The biggest problem that I have with this movie is the lead character, and it's less, honestly, it's less how the character is written. It's Scarlett Johansson, and I'm not saying that because of the whole whitewashing thing or anything like that. That's not why I'm saying that. I'm saying that because she is wooden as fuck in this.
That was the thing, like, almost immediately you notice, and you're like, this is a very, very weird choice that she's making.
Uh-huh.
Because, yeah, like, her... And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's nothing that I noticed, like, when this, you know, same story, for the most part, is told in an animated fashion. I don't know, maybe it's just one of those things you don't notice, but yeah, like, it's like they told her, like, okay, so you're like this human brain in a robot body, and she's like, robot, got it, boop, boop. And,
fuck, man.
Cause like she's got like this weird cadence when she walks, like she's got this weird thing where she just like gets uncomfortably close to people and just looms over them, despite the fact she's like 5'2".
Yeah.
Somehow she's still towering over people constantly, just uncomfortably close. Constantly like doing like this like head tilt thing, like she's either a dog or Michael Myers who doesn't know what to do in a situation. And it's odd because it's like, well, yeah, you're in a robot body, but like you're not like a fucking robot. Like
it's her tone. It's just like no matter what.
Like she delivers dialogue with the same.
It's the same, man. It is like whether this character is mad or sad or making a joke or anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It's the same slow, monotone, like,
well, and
fuck.
And at times, like, yeah, especially with the fact that she's got like this very slow, deliberate cadence when she talks. Then when she adds in any sort of facial expression to it, it just it feels like those moments, like when you're talking to somebody who like is like really, really like aspy, like on the spectrum, and like they know that like that was a joke. I should smile, but it seems out of place. Like, it's kind of one of those kind of moments. Like everyone's laughing, so ha 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 ha. Like, you know, it's one of those things. So like, you know, she got injured in a firefight. They, you know, the doctor's telling her like, it's like, you need to be careful out there. You're not invincible. She just very wry comment. It's like, maybe next time design me better.
Maybe
Smirk.
next time design me better.
It's like...
You tell me that I'm the first of my kind as if that's supposed to make me happy. I'm like, my God, someone give this fucking emo-ass robot a balloon or something. Jesus.
'Cause, yeah, it's very peculiar. And especially considering how... I mean, the other actors, you know, around her are all doing fine jobs.
God, like, it is saying something when the most fucking emo-ass fucking robot in this movie is not the one who's played by Michael Pitt. He's really good in this, by the way. Like, he's got some kind of unnerving moments in this film. Shit.
Like, everyone else seems to have a perfect grasp on the situation, but
yeah.
she's just so bizarrely detached. And again, like maybe it's subtleties that are missed in, you know, like again, like the source material being an anime, the fact, like for me, like I've never actually seen like the dubbed version of Ghost in the Shell. I've only ever watched it like subtitled, so I don't know, like maybe you know there's something that I'm missing because, you know, since that's not like my first language, I'm missing the subtleties in how they're performing it. But it seems like such a weird fucking choice. Like I said, like it's like they told her like you're a robot, and that's like, okay,
it's just
got it.
It's wooden. That's what it is. It's stiff. It's like, yeah, you can make the excuse that she's playing a robot. Yeah, okay, that doesn't mean you got to go through this movie just playing like just this big stiff board through the whole thing. Plenty of other people in this movie too. Plenty of people play a part like this where they're a robot, or maybe they got to be really cold or really fairly emotionless if the role calls for, but they still bring something else to it, whether it's maybe a sense of gravitas or just kind of being cool or charismatic or something, like something to where I'm not just falling asleep every time you open your mouth.
Well,
and
in a good comparison to this, a very good comparison parallel to draw to it is like Blade Runner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, like these two films, I mean, more so the original and Blade Runner, you know, like they're very much like of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could even be argued really like that these two share the same common universe. I mean, hell, like it would take you 5 seconds to like draw like the proper conclusions to merge these two universes that are perpetually stuck in like super like high saturated, larger than life future 80s.
Yeah. Which is a thing I liked about this movie. I did. It was, visually speaking, and the aesthetics of it and everything, it was like even beyond 80s. It felt like a throwback to like the days when something like Strange Days was out in theaters, or you know, Johnny Mnemonic or something like that.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing for me. Is like, and I'm sure that Johnny Mnemonic took heavily from the original Ghost in the Shell. I mean, fuck, like the Matrix movies might as well be a fucking sequel to this for as much as they ripped it off. That. Yeah, it's like you can see like so many different things in this, and it's a problem though with doing like a remake or an adaptation, however you want to really, you know, cut it for this, of something that kind of is one of those things that launched so many other projects, is that when you bring that forward like this, it just seems really, really been there, done that in a way too. Like, and like you see certain things, you're like, it's like, oh, because that's what they do, or oh, this feels cliche that they're doing that. Like, it's a problem. Like for people that have seen plenty of like horror movies and newer horror movies, and then finally get around to watching Halloween after the, you know, like years and years after the fact, and thinking, well, this is kind of dull. Like, I don't see what the big deal is about this. Like, it feels, you know, like I've seen all this stuff done in other movies. It's like, yeah, but this is where it started. It was they all did it because this one did it. So that's the problem I have sometimes with stuff like this, where it's not even so much like updated, just you know, kind of redone, is that a lot of the stuff like is like, I've seen all of this before, because I've seen probably 30 movies, 40 movies in the past 10 years that have done all these same strokes.
But with a solid enough person in there as your lead, and maybe even some other techniques that you're bringing to it, you can take something like this that's been done in other sci-fi movies before, and still give a freshness to it. Look at the John Wick movies. Like, not science fiction, arguably. But like,
I'm still not convinced he isn't an immortal.
but like, you know, John Wick. The plot of John Wick is he's a retired hitman who comes back to get revenge. They kill his dog. In the second movie, they try getting him back into it. They fuck with John Wick again, and John Wick goes and kills all of them. Like, of course that's something that's been done before. It certainly has, but John Wick had a way about it between, one, how it was made, how it was choreographed and everything, the style of it, and its lead character. Like, Keanu Reeves in John Wick was playing a character who doesn't have all of the emotions in the world, certainly. Like, he is pretty stone-faced. He
Very
is
closed-off person.
Yeah, exactly. But John Wick and Keanu Reeves' performance as John Wick is intimidating. Like, you're drawn to him on screen because he's scary. Like, when you look at him in those eyes, you believe that Keanu Reeves just went crazy and is killing a bunch of fucking people, and they just happened to film it. Like you believe that. So yeah, there's certainly ways of taking characters that are very closed off and very guarded, and like in this movie's case, the person being a robot, and still making you want to see a movie about them, and still drawing you in to what you're watching, to their story and all of that makes you want to see where their story's going. It makes you root for them. It makes you care. You're emotionally invested somewhat in some certain aspect of their personality or how the part's played or something like that. And there is none of that here in her performance. And because of that, I don't know about you, but I was so like just daydreaming like fuck during this movie.
I had a few moments like that, and especially when it was lulls in the action, or you know, just even like pieces that should be like important story pieces, when like she's, you know, like confronts that doctor at her house about like seriously, like, where the fuck did you find me? Just because not because it felt like the story was grinding to a halt or anything. It's just, yeah, it's like when she's on screen solo, there's really not a lot to grab your attention. Like, unless it is,
there isn't,
unless it is a fight scene with her, like,
and unfortunately she's supposed to carry like 98% of the scenes in this movie. Like, this isn't an instance where it's like, well, there's, you know, supporting cast, they're kind of carrying this character a little bit. And you know what? This movie does have some good supporting characters in it. In fact, most of them are kind of interesting. But this isn't an ensemble film. They just kind of drift in and out of the movie.
Yeah.
Even her partner does.
Yeah, Bato, he's
great.
He's there and gone sometimes.
Juliette Binoche is really good in this film.
I forget the character's name, but the character that
beat Takashi.
Yeah. Fucking intimidating as fuck the way he plays him.
Oh yeah, he absolutely shines in this, man. When he's giving him like orders on taking out these, where all the robot geishas were and stuff like that at the beginning of the movie, I was sitting there, it was like, wow, this is the most intense round of Takashi's Castle I've ever seen. Damn.
Well, and again, like, going towards like an actor's ability to convey things, even when nothing is happening. A majority of his scenes take place with him sitting in an office, and like they're connected by like a mental link. So half of his scenes are him like communicating with them over like their mind comm system. So he's not even actually talking. It's just him sitting there, like vaguely emoting on his face, and completely selling it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like it really goes to that whole like less is more style of acting.
Considering like the best scene in this movie is when he takes out these guys with like a revolver and like a bulletproof suitcase. And that is more badass and intimidating than any of the other action sequences in this movie.
Yeah, for me, like, I honestly liked that scene. Just that one simple scene, I liked that more than like the big fight there at the end with her against like the big like Tachikoma, the big like spider tank thing.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of liked that more than that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it had like, it had that grit in that feel to it, you know. It's just it's nighttime, it's raining, it's dingy looking out there, fucking like just yellow ass like halogen street lamps and shit, and like it just, it's like, that's how I like my action movies.
Yeah. I totally agree. I do. Like, that scene alone, like, would make me say, like, well, the movie's at least maybe worth a rental or something. Which is probably how I kind of come down on this. Like, I really can't. I was daydreaming so much in this fucking movie that I can't justify paying money to see this in the theater. But at the same time, like, I mean, the script is fine. The direction is good. It's a good looking movie, and there are decent supporting performances in there, him especially, that, yeah, it's worth a solid rental, I guess. Or hell, I don't even know if you need to leave the house to pick this up. Like, just popping it up on Netflix, even. But
yeah, I mean, but I would say, like, if you're a fan, like, of the original movie, or like if you were like one of those people that like watched all of like Standalone Complex on like Adult Swim, you know, if you've seen like the other ones, or I think like the kind of like 3 or 4 part prequel, Arise is on Netflix, I think. Like, if you're a fan of any of that stuff, like, definitely, like, I mean, yeah, you're not gonna feel like you've been like gypped by coming to this one. Like, it's got everything. Like, if you're a fan of the series already, it's got everything that's gonna make you happy. Like, I don't feel like it's one of those things, like, cause like sometimes like adaptations of stuff like this, especially when it's such a huge story and so much to cover, you can end up with something really shitty, like
Last Airbender,
or like the couple, like Street Fighter the movie, or Street Fighter, what was it, The Legend of Chun-Li, or
I forgot about that
fucking awful Dragon Ball Evolution movie,
or Tekken.
Like any of these things, like, are horrible examples of how this can go.
Well, yeah, it is, but like that's very true. But you know, at least like Street Fighter had enough camp in it that I was never on the verge of falling asleep in the thing.
And yeah, like, but if they'd played that straight, it would have it would have been fucking awful.
I never actually saw the Legend of Chun-Li one. I hear it's not better.
I've seen like a little bit of it. Mostly I'm curious to watch it because I think Neil McDonough is the villain.
He plays M. Bison, yeah. Yeah. I know, I kind of wanted to see it just because of that, you know? But that shit didn't come to Springfield.
Because he looks so much like Raul Julia.
Yeah.
I mean, I always confuse them.
Same.
But no, and hopefully, like, if nothing else, like there are some, like, some questionable parts with like the acting choices that Scarlett Johansson makes, but I feel like this is a good step towards like some of these like classic anime movies and shows, like, to possibly get like a good adaptation going, because you know, so far, like, this is a pretty good version. Like, the one that I was holding, like, is like, oh, that's a good version of like, you know, animated live action before, was like Fist of the North Star.
Yes.
Fucking Casas Mandalore.
Yeah.
Fucking who else? It was,
oh God, man,
Chris
it's been
Penn.
Right. Yeah, it's been probably since I've seen Ghost in the Shell that I've seen Fist of the North Star. I I just always feel like I should just recommend anything that has Costas Mandylor in it.
That's true. I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
Right.
But
I mean, I've seen him take out people with a knife in like a split second.
But like, I hope that this is maybe like the beginning of a trend. Like, you know, we've got comic book movies that have like done a complete 180 from where they were 10 years ago. So I'm hoping that maybe this can do something. Because like I was reading something earlier today. Like I just saw like a headline. Like, I don't know how much there is to it, but like it was talking about something about how like they were looking to have like Jordan Peele take over for like doing that Akira.
Oh, really?
I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a comedy. I fucking loved it.
Mm-hmm. A horror movie that I fucking loved.
Fucking loved it. You know what?
Why not?
Yeah, let's just see what other genres he can go ahead and do a good job at. You know?
Yeah.
I have zero fucking problem with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because really my issues with this movie really is just kind of the lead performance of the film. That's really what takes it down for me, like several fucking notches. But let's say someone far better than this performance is in the lead role. This would have been a much more solid movie for me. This movie, and that was just a huge problem that I had with this, enough to where like I just didn't get that invested in it. But it's not a train wreck. The movie, right. there are good things about it.
And yeah, and even at that, like, honestly, like, for me, it doesn't even need to be necessarily a different actress. Just Scarlett Johansson making some different choices, because a fairly similar role was like her role in Lucy. And granted, that movie is insane. But
it was a lot more fun than this movie.
But she had a little bit more personality, even though, and again, like, it was the sort of thing like she didn't exactly know what the hell was going on. It was coming to terms with who she is now and shit. Or, I mean, her roles that she's had, you know, as the Black Widow in the different, you know, Marvel movies, like,
she's really good in that.
She can nail it all. It's just for whatever reason in this one, like, they're like, no, we want you to do this, and it's just
it worked. And yeah, Lucy is a batshit fucking movie, but like it's entertaining as hell. But in Lucy, like, we see the character before she kind of becomes that killing machine that she does in that, and you certainly see a lot more personality from her at the beginning of that film when she's just a regular person. But even when she becomes that kind of stone-faced, like, just murderer in Lucy, like, Luc Besson is great at directing stuff like that. He still manages to give it a real sense of humor. And even when she's going around saying something that's kind of monotone or something like that, there's other aspects to her performance. There's, like, crazy dark shit that's happening, but it's kind of funny. Like, it had a good sense of humor about it. I'm not saying that this movie should have been a comedy. Like, I'm not saying that, but I just mean, like, they worked well with the fact that she's playing a role in Lucy where she doesn't really have to emote a lot, but there's enough stuff going on in there, and they're having fun with the fact that, like, she goes into, like, an operating room and that and just shoots the guy who's being operated on because she needs the doctor to fix him or to fix her. Like, so that movie did, in my opinion, did better with that kind of Scarlett Johansson performance than this movie did.
Yeah, so like I say, at the end of the day, for me, it comes down to just, like, they went with a weird choice. I don't get it. Like, I mean, it wasn't the worst it could have been, but it felt off. It always felt off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, I agree. I totally agree. It's not a bad movie. For me, I would say it's worth no more than just like a Netflix watch or something like that. I have no idea what someone who knows everything about the series and everything this is based on, I have no idea.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people mentioning things down below.
Yeah, and I get it. I do.
Yeah,
like
I am full well. We've probably said things that don't. It's like, this is very much like the original. Actually, all of these parts depart. Like, Probably. I don't know. I legitimately don't know.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, last time I saw the original was probably 15 years ago. I was telling you before we went in, like I tried downloading a copy of it here like a year or two back because Letty's never seen it, and it was just a really shit quality one. So I'm like, oh, I'll just wait. Like, and then like they had like the re-release of it on Hulu for the longest fucking time, and then by the time I'm like, I should watch it, it was already taken down. I'm like, fuck. Like I kept looking at it like I should watch that tonight. Like, nah, I'd rather just do something else tonight. It's like I'll get back to it. It's got the little thing on it. Like it's like this content will expire.
Yeah.
It's like
this content will self-destruct in 30. Oh shit! Gotta delete this fast. I wish we were just watching. when we went in a little marquee on there. Sometimes if the title is more than like 10 letters, I guess, like it'll just kind of shorten itself. So when we went in there, the little digital marquee above it just said Ghost in 3D. Like, man, I wish we were just watching Ghost in 3D. And those, I'd be all about a re-release of Ghost anyway, but Ghost in 3D, man, that mud would go everywhere.
Oh yeah, that's like it's suggestible enough as is, but in 3D, like sploosh.
Even when those demons come out to get like Willie and Carl, like shit. I'm pretty sure I just died. Ain't no way I'm going to heaven. Alright, well I guess I should go home and get some sleep because I gotta see Boss Baby tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a delightful way to spend a Friday.
Boss Baby.
I bet it's amazing.
I hear great things. Man. Yeah, I'm spending the weekend in Champaign, so that's one of the things I'll be doing up there. Check it out, Boss Baby. Yeah. So if you're wondering where the review of Boss Baby is, which I know there's gonna... In fact, I probably should have said something about it at the beginning of this video, because I know I'm gonna get a lot of, where's Boss Baby?
This is bullshit, man.
Bullshit! This fucking Ghost and fucking Velveeta Shell movie, like, talk about fucking Alec Baldwin as a baby. Enough of me rambling about Boss Baby. See ya.